Hey everyone, Cat Goblin and Martin here, and happy Halloween. I played a lot of cool games as a kid, but a few of those games have some enemies or levels that scared me back then. So today I'm going to be talking about all the enemies and levels that scared me as a kid, and show off a few clips of them. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first game is Scooby-Doo Night to 100 Frights on the GameCube. The first game I ever played, and it's no doubt the greatest game of all time. But there are a lot of jump scares and creeps. Sure, the enemies that pop out of secret doors, boxes, closets, and bushes scared me a little, but the obvious one would be in Clamor in the Manor Part 2. You know, that room with the really creepy music and the moving picture of the creeper? Well, once you get the football helmet invention, the creeper pops out of the picture. I was playing this with my parents back then, and we didn't even expect that to happen. Besides the jump scare, the music is just way too creepy. It also plays in On Edge in the Hedge Part 3, Chills and Spills in Haunted Hill Part 2, Cower in the Tower Part 1, Lighthouse Fright House Part 3, Creepy Crawlies in the Hallways Part 2, and A Misbehaving Cause a Cave in Part 3. This music is creepy and it fits the creeper too well.
Right! It's the Headless Spectre! Rolling! It's the creeper!
Some other creepy enemies are the zombie, tar monster, and sea creature. The sea creature, also known as the Heap of the Deep, is pretty scary looking when you're up close. Just look at it. It's got deadly crab claws, flippers, a shark fin, whale's tail, seaweed hair, one eye, and a huge mouth. It's even got a sinister voice too. This thing could give you nightmares. The tar monster isn't that scary. In fact, his voice is pretty funny in some parts.
Don't do that!
But listen to him in Lighthouse Fright House Part 3.
Is there anybody over there?
Yeah, pretty creepy. I also got freaked out by him when I first meet him in the tower part in the mansion. You hear some strange squelching noises, and when you go downstairs and investigate it, you're greeted by...
Right? Is there anybody over there?
The zombie, on the other hand, takes first place for the creepiest enemy in the game, and here's why. So Chills and Spills in Haunted Hill Part 2 plays the same creepy music. You can hear some zombies moaning, and when you take a few steps forward, two zombies try to ambush you. I hated this part so much as a kid that I would just run forwards as fast as I could to avoid them. It's weird how you go from one part with happy music to this part with creepy music. Creepy Crawlies in the Hallways Part 2 is another scary level, and that's because the zombie that comes out of the right jail cell is glitched, and will run while patrolling as if he saw you. It looks way more creepy when you see him charging in the hall towards you.
Oh no! It's a Robo! It's a zombie! Robbie! Right! It's the Headless Spectre!
What was I doing? What was I doing?
Oh no! It's a Robbie!
Moving on, we have the Aunt Bully video game, another favorite of mine as a kid. The two enemies that I feared the most in this game are the Purple Spider and the Black Widow. They're creepy little buggers. The purple ones hiss at you and will punch you rapidly. Sometimes in the game there's a glitch where they'll just charge straight at you without hissing. Then the Black Widow just screams like a dinosaur every time it sees you. Back then I would try to take the high ground and snipe them with a dart bow or seed bomb, or run past them. Man, I hated this arena part in the last level. How I got over them is that, well, you have a staff and you can literally whack them in the butt, or abdomen I should say. I also dislike the living room area because, well, it's nighttime there and the purple spiders are like the main enemies. Next up is Rolling Thunder in the Namco Museum Collection. This compilation has some pretty cool games that I enjoy. Dragon Spirit is pretty interesting. I found Area 9 to be spooky due to the music, but Rolling Thunder contains the scariest enemy out of all the arcade games, and it's Blogas. Those little yellow creatures that jump on you, make weird noises, disintegrate upon death, and will pretty much instantly kill you. Actually, I didn't know they were called Blogas, so I just called them goblins back then. What makes them scary is that later on in the above floors, when things get harder, the Blogas walk faster and will ambush you in spots that you would least expect them to appear. Like they're supposed to be in that jungle room, not an elaborate warehouse. It's time for Shrek Smash and Crash Racing. This game has some cool tracks, each of them containing their own hazard. That tree here didn't really scare me back then, nor did the whole track. The Knight and Hunter are two enemies that chase you, and the third enemy that chases you is the Troll. The way it rushes towards you is scary, just look at it. I learned that this troll is from Shrek 2 the video game. I don't own the game, but I played it at my cousin's. Sonic Riders, my first ever Sonic game I got. I don't know about you guys, but I always thought that pink hedgehog was kinda creepy. But an enemy that scared me in the game is the yellow worker bot in the egg factory. It just hovers towards you and doesn't say a thing. I don't know, I was only 4 back then, and I didn't like anything that chases you. The Lord of the Rings The Two Towers video game, a game where you can control Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, and have to slay all the orcs and trolls. The levels are amazing, but there's one level that's pretty scaring, but it's my favorite now, and that level is Fangorn Forest. This forest has a lot of pop-ups, not just by orcs and goblins, but also by trolls and the Uruk-hai berserkers, two of the strongest enemies in the game. The orcs in this game aren't really scary, it's the way they jump out at you in Fangorn. So you have to cross through this small stream and all of a sudden, orcs burst out of the water. Orcs there, orcs here, orcs everywhere. And trolls. Kinda feel bad for those poor goblins in the level though. Next is Super Paper Mario, a game that I forgot about and still need to complete. Count Bleck is hands down the best and scary evil mastermind. He makes a cool entrance and even has his own evil theme, which is the best track in the game. As a kid, I always thought his theme was sorta scary, like he pops out of nowhere. He does look cool though, and I don't know why, but I used to think he was a she because the red collar and the color of his robe, but that's besides the point. The point is, he has a scary entrance and theme song. Aw yeah, New Super Mario Bros. DS, my first ever Mario and DS game. I have so much nostalgia for this game, and it's just overall amazing. I gotta admit that the bruisers are kinda scary when you first meet them because they have boxing gloves. There's the eel, but it's not scary, and it's not bad either. Yeah, I watched Nico BBQ's new video, The Eel Isn't a Bad Guy. Link to that in the description. But I think one enemy that we can all agree on is scary in this game is Spike Bass. A spiky fish that has a killer agenda, which is killing you. It swims around the water rapidly, then leaps out of the water to attack you. Oh, and it's got this really intimidating face too. I hated this fish so much as a game. Thank goodness it only appears in 2 levels. Thankfully it's an enemy that you can fry into fish sticks. But the thing keeps on coming back, again and again. Third Mario game on this list is Super Mario Galaxy. The funny thing is I lost the Wii game somewhere in my house, but good thing I have Mario 3D All-Stars and the family Switch. Anyways, Mario Galaxy has this nice and adventurous lovable charm to it. There's definitely no scary Galaxy here. Like Ghostly Galaxy isn't scary at all. Well, maybe Bouldergeist is a little creepy, but the mansion's got some nice chill music. Big Mouth Galaxy looks like the perfect vacation spot. Let's travel there then, shall we? Okay, this place has terrifying music. On the beach, you meet a hermit penguin with his pet crabbers and Koopa, and there's a gold chest you have to open for the star. The thing I hated most about this galaxy is that you have to travel underwater, and with this creepy music, I did not want to go in the water. There's booze by the entrance, then deep in the cave you'll find this huge jellyfish, some jammy fish, and 2 gringle eels circling the area. These enemies, combined with the music, make this the most terrifying galaxy in the whole game. At least when you free Captain Toad, his theme starts to play, changing the mood of the place. On to Sonic Colors, and what a colorful game it truly is. One of the best planets in the game has to be Aquarium Park. It is filled with a lot of water, but the levels are fun. Surprisingly, Sonic can actually swim now, and he's not afraid, but something you should be afraid of is the Big Chasser, a hovering robot hermit crab that wants you dead. This thing appears in Act 3 and Act 1 in Terminal Velocity. When you start Act 3, you think it's a normal water level, but after a few steps to the right, this thing just ambushes you. It's pretty freaky looking. All it does is try to punch you, or when you're ahead of it, it will shoot lasers at you. Despite its scary appearance, it's not very smart as it doesn't pull up in time before getting destroyed. Following the space theme is LEGO Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars. It's a LEGO game. LEGO games don't have scary levels or enemies in them. It's usually about the humor, right? Wrong. Legacy of Terror. A terrifying level indeed, especially the episode on TV. Alright, I can live with the undead Geonosians, but the scary factor is when you first enter the tunnel. The music is creepy, but the worst part is, there's jump scares. I know they're just statues, but having them pop out like that scared me back then. It's like the creeper picture all over again. It's time to meet the Robinsons. It took me 6 years to beat this game, and that's because I was afraid of a few of the enemies. Okay, so the basement level is pretty cool, but I hated those security camera bots. Now, they can't hurt you, but will chase you. I used to think their laser would instantly kill me, and when they make that annoying sound, you're busted. I didn't like the security robots either because of how fast they move, and also their robotic voice. Pretty creepy. How I beat this level back then is that I would stay behind the door or elevator and snipe them with my charge ball glove. The coolest faction in the Meet the Robinsons game are the robot ants. I was obsessed with these guys back then, and you gotta admit, robot ants are just cool and brilliant. Though the robot ants are cool, there's just one ant that's miserable to deal with, and that is the army ant. The soldier ants are fine, the sergeant mostly spits acid at you, and the lieutenant isn't that bad either, but army ants are just terrifying, especially in the infested warehouse level. These guys will charge and clobber you. Dealing with one is alright, but try dealing with 3 or 4. Yeah, do not knock this guy off the platform. The best way to take them out is by flipping them over like usual, then go into aim mode with the charge ball glove and fire, instantly killing them. Their speed and numbers truly make them terrifying. I saved the best one for last, Scooby-Doo First Frights on the Wii, and you know what really gave me first frights? Those creepy dolls in level 1 of episode 2. These things are just too creepy. They may look weak, but they're strong enough to charge you. Oh, and they have a really creepy voice. I thought the clown was creepy, but the dolls are just scary. The werewolf from episode 4 is also pretty scary. The way they run and how the ambushing the castle makes them terrifying.
Take that!
So yeah, that is going to be it for today's special video. I've talked about all the enemies and levels that really scared me back then as a kid. I really didn't like these guys back then, and maybe you didn't like them either. But anyways, hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video.